Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
And I'm the greater power.
Oh.
Spooky.
Shit. I thought someone else was. Welcome to episode 365, WWF Monday Night RAW.
How raw will it be?
This is the 315th episode of RAW, produced by the WWF. It would take place on June 7th, 1999, from the Fleet Center in Boston, Massachusetts, with an attendance of 13,430 people and a TV rating of 6.7.
Down from the Owen show, but this is 2 weeks later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In comparison, Nitro would have a 3.3, with Nash dumping literal poop on Savage in the middle of the show. So it would smear and stain the ring apron for the rest of the episode.
Is, what's that asshole's name?
Russo?
Yeah, it's
no,
Russo.
He's still in WWE.
And they're doing Russo stuff over there.
Yeah.
It's a name we should all forget as fans of wrestling.
Fortunately, we're going to have him for at least another 5 to 6 years.
Yeah. Crazy.
But something that would happen right around the same time as this episode of Monday Night Raw, Napster would be created.
Ooh.
So someone probably downloaded Blink-182's Enema of the State earlier in the week.
I mean, I heard about Napster from a MTV News segment, and I downloaded it on my Windows 98 computer that was in like the weird like side office of my parents' bedroom where the family computer was, as we had family computers in 1999.
Yeah.
And it would take 24 plus hours to download a song. Do you remember the first song you downloaded off of Napster? Or the first handful?
No clue.
Really?
I was one of the lucky ones, and I actually had my own personal PC.
You're also a few years older than me.
Yeah. So, literally, I had my computer on 24/7.
Oh, I left the computer on to download the song. But we only had 56K. It was 56.
Downloading, I mean, we had the best internet, so I think I had 100. Yeah. I think I had 192.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was still 56K at the point where
I think I could do an album in like, a couple hours or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't get to cable internet until a few years later when it became a bigger, more available and lower price.
I do know that I didn't download the Blink-182 album because I bought the Blink-182 album because I liked Blink-182.
Yeah, you're a big fan. You went and saw them a year or two ago?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
On
the reunion tour.
Yeah. My hot Blink-182 take is the only album I really like is Dude Ranch. Yeah. Although there are good songs on other albums, but I never actually had this. I think my sister had the CD. I definitely downloaded those songs. I was watching TRL every day after school. But Napster, some of the first songs I downloaded would have been the My Name Is by Eminem. And I'm a noted Eminem hater, but it was such a huge song.
I had that album too. So
and it was funny. I downloaded...
It might have been like Everclear or something like that. Because something that I wouldn't have ever bought the album. Because I'm still, even though like you can still go out there and download stuff.
Yeah. Well, now everything's streaming.
Yeah, or streaming. Like if it's something that like I want to listen to, like I know I want to listen to, I'll still go buy an album.
I buy albums.
I'm a physical media guy. So.
If it's a band that I love, they have an upcoming album, I'll like pre-order it sometimes. But for the most part, I've gone through phases of collecting where I've just kind of gotten over it.
I'm less of it now just because a few years ago, one of my computers, like, shit the bricks, and like I lost my entire, like, music collection that was on my computer.
But we're both, like, generally physical media guys, especially when it comes to film. But, yeah, other songs I downloaded.
I mean, I'm the guy that they gave the U2 album to on my phone, and I still bought the album because I have every YouTube album in physical, you know.
They're also your favorite band.
That they are.
Yeah, I don't have every album by my favorite band, but they have like 25 albums. So, you know, what am I going to do? I still have more of their records on vinyl than any other band.
There you go.
But, yeah, I was getting into, like, punk at the time. So I remember downloading Teenagers from Mars by the Misfits. I remember downloading...
Beck might have been a big one that I downloaded.
Oh, yeah.
Because I liked Beck, but I wasn't sure...
If you liked Beck.
How much I liked Beck.
Well, I was only getting one song. So I was just, like... picking, because years later, when I had a better internet connection, I would download full albums, like multiples a day, and burn them to a CD, and then just put them in my car or have them and then get to them eventually. And I would, like, you know, if somebody was like, oh, what's this? It's cool. I would just give it to them and make myself another copy. But the single song Napster era.
Did you make playlists for friends?
No, I was always a full album guy. But in this Napster era...
I downloaded full albums for myself.
Yeah.
But I was a big playlist guy for, like, I would give playlists to other people.
I was never a big playlist guy. I've always been an album guy, and I still am. But in that early Napster era, I would just take all the songs that I got over the course of a week and put them onto a CD because it took so long because I had, you know, a 56K and it was like a brand new thing. It just wasn't very quick, but... Yeah, remember there was a Black Flag song?
There was even a, like, different version. Like, it wasn't Napster, but it was the same idea.
Yeah, like LimeWire.
But it literally just had Christian music.
Oh, wow.
On it.
It was just Tooth and Nail.
Like, a whole bunch of Tooth and Nail. So I downloaded a whole bunch of Tooth and Nail stuff.
Oh, MXPX.
Yeah, I would have.
I downloaded
MXPX because...
I can't remember what song. What's the big song?
Teenage Politics.
What's the
one with
the bass line? It's something about a girl. I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But I downloaded a lot of capital P punk stuff.
I would have downloaded a bunch of ska because I loved ska back in the day.
I was a big Less Than
Y'all learn
Jake
so
fan.
much about us right now.
Yeah. I was a big Less Than Jake fan. I liked Catch-22. That was a couple years later probably. But yeah, it was a bunch of punky stuff. But at the same time, I would be like playing on the computer after school and listening to Pink Floyd out of a boombox. We Contain Multitudes.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to suggest anyone to go and download Napster now because it's not worth it. Just pay for a subscription to Spotify or Apple Music, guys. Like, they
Tidal if you're crazy, or just buy the actual album outright.
Or Amazon. Amazon has music. It's the only place you can get Garth Brooks music nowadays. So.
Bandcamp. Support your artists.
Support Bandcamp. Buy physical media, guys.
Even on Bandcamp, you can pay for the digital.
That's true. Yeah. I've done that before, but I've also bought physical stuff from Bandcamp.
Yeah, because typically they'll give you the digital as well.
Yep, it will. And listen to Blink-182's Enema of the State if you haven't. I don't know why you haven't.
There's some tracks on there.
You know, what's my age again? Well, let's talk some Monday Night Raw. We get a video package of Stone Cold Steve Austin attacking people to begin the show. And JR teases that the higher power will be revealed before going into the Raw's opening video package. Coming back to Pyro going off in the arena, with Jim Ross welcoming us to the show, joined by Jerry the King Lawler. And Vince McMahon makes his way to the ring, wanting to talk about who the greater power is, since it seems to have piqued everyone's interest. Could it be HBK, Jake Roberts, or even just a random bartender?
Jake Roberts is so funny.
I guess that was actually one of the people that they thought about.
Really? It seems like a joke because it's like, oh, remember when he was kind of getting religious before he left to do more crack?
Yeah.
Still glad you're alive, Jake, and that's not shade, but it's true.
Vince continues that he plans on going no holds barred with that person tonight, knowing it is a member of the family, challenging Shane to a match tonight, and even sweetening the pot by putting up his 50% control of the WWF, if his son will do the same.
And Vince is out in like a tank top and like elbow pads. He's in fight mode.
Ready to fight. Shane then makes his way out to the stage, accepting the challenge, only to assure his father that he's not the greater power. But Undertaker will reveal who it is very soon.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Shane come out to cheers.
Did he?
It sounded like it to me.
Maybe he did. JR and the King discuss the rest of the show when we are shown Austin talking to someone in a limo outside the building as we go to commercial.
Who could it be now?
We come back to the corporate ministry, then making their way to the ring, where Taker is ready to present the higher power.
Undertaker comes out to booze as he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin, yet he is the World Heavyweight Champion, and everybody watching's got a problem with it.
And this higher power person, whoever it is, takes forever to walk his way to the ring. And he takes the mic, only for Shane's voice to reverberate through the arena, saying that he told you that Shane wasn't the greater power. When McMahon would walk out onto the stage and down to the ring to prove that he's not the man under the cloak. Shane continues that the greater power is omniscient, calculated, cold, a mastermind at screwing with people's minds, methodical in their methods, a master in human psychology, knowing what makes each and every one of us tick, knows our fears, our strengths, and our weaknesses, and how to exploit them. So who is this greater power?
Sounds more like the devil.
Let's reveal it to the whole world. But wait, we need a witness. So Vince, come on down. I bestow the honor to you to reveal the greater power. And Mr. McMahon shows up on the Titantron to answer that he's as close as he needs to be, and that the greater power needs to show his face right now. The cloaked figure slowly unveils to reveal Vince McMahon,
Bum, bum, bum.
screaming, "It was me all along."
Yeah, very Scooby-Doo.
You all bought it hook, line, and sinker. Even my family bought it. Everyone was made fools of. Austin, it fooled you because I had to teach you a lesson, as there's no price I will not pay, no depth I will not stoop to make Stone Cold's life a living hell. And actually, before we move on, have you read any more about the higher power since?
No, I didn't look anything up, and okay. I'm embarrassed now because once we got to this segment, I remember watching it. I remember being a kid and excited and elated at all of this reveal. But, over the last few weeks where I've been like, I don't know who the greater power is. And it's like, it's obvious who it is.
I mean, you called it on an episode a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not knowing that you called it, but.
Yeah, but I think I just knew it in my, fifth. I smoked a lot of pot when I was young. I don't do it now, but I did it at the time where I shouldn't have been doing it. So my memory is not the tightest. But this was the era where I was the most locked in on WWF. And this is a huge, huge moment, and it's done pretty well.
We can talk about Vince being the higher power later.
Yeah, I want to dig in.
But the original plan for who was supposed to be the higher power, or at least I think maybe it was Russo's idea originally, was Christopher Daniels.
Somebody nobody has any idea who that is. Nobody knows who that is.
No one knows who it is at this point.
Yeah.
In 2026, everyone knows who Christopher Daniels is because he's...
Not even everybody does. But wrestling fans.
He's one of the best wrestlers that ever wrestled, but he's basically been an Impact and ROH guy for pretty much his entire life.
He got some use early AEW.
I mean, he's one of the few guys that's wrestled in every single major promotion.
Yeah, he's an unsung talent.
But he wasn't that big of a guy. He's basically a cruiserweight size.
I don't know his height, but he's not a large man.
So Vince was just like, no, we can't. He can't be the main guy. Like,
Russo's not Canadian. He's from New York.
But then I also just read that they actually approached Foley about being the higher power.
Foley is good, but he's not God.
But he didn't want to turn heel.
Nor should he have.
So that's the reason why
people wouldn't have bought it. I don't think people would have bought him being heel. And now's the last point in time where he might be able to pull it off. Maybe. But after this, 6 months from now, no one's booing Mick Foley. This is his last chance.
Yeah.
And I think he made the right move. Because Vince McMahon is the right answer, even if it is obvious and silly.
And nonsensical.
And nonsensical. It doesn't matter because everyone's so bought in. Everybody in this family has been proven to be insane.
I mean, I guess basically the biggest issue with Vince being the higher power is that literally everything that's happened since WrestleMania is just kind of like, why did we do this?
But this
because we've literally just taken everything that we've done over the last couple months and just kind of going, whatever.
Yeah, but I will say
because I was having fun with Vince as the tweener face.
Absolutely, but he is
and you even mentioned it. It was letting Shane shine.
Well, Shane's established at this point because he did such a good job so quickly, and McMahon's the only answer that's satisfying. Also, I don't know what they did last week, but last week on our show, we covered the show directly after Owen Hart's death. Mm-hmm. And this reveal and the way this show is set up, just going to say it, is a perfect hard reset. I guess more of a soft reset for new viewers. I think that no matter... You can poke holes in this all day because there's holes to be poked, but I don't know what we can say it doesn't work.
Yeah. Back to the action here. Vince begins thanking the entire corporate ministry when Stephanie and Linda McMahon are out on the stage.
Love it.
Steph asks her father how he could be so cruel. Remember, she got kidnapped, almost married off to the Undertaker.
Yeah, she's been just terrorized over the last few months.
With Mr. McMahon sputtering that he wasn't trying to be cruel, he still loves her. And Linda then wants to talk business. And love has nothing to do with business.
It's just business.
Reminding her husband that the family owns 4 equal shares. That Shane and Vince don't own 50% each. So she just called a board meeting and decided on a new dress code, such as jean shorts, profanities allowed in the workplace, and even drinking on the job. An ice-cold alcoholic beverage can really quench your thirst. Linda then continues that she stepped down as CEO, but not before handpicking her successor, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the new CEO comes out with a tie around his neck, only to take it off because he doesn't need a power tie. He has the power finger, and flipping off Vince. And Austin's ready to make some rules. First up, he's going to get a title match at some time in the future.
Yeah.
Second, at King of the Ring, he will be facing both Vince and Shane, so he can beat their asses at the same time. And Vince would like a few stipulations of his own, but it's on. Before Stone Cold moves on to make a match for Shane tonight versus X-Pac and Kane, wishing the little bastard good luck. Austin then says that Shamrock, Test, and Big Show can have a match against anyone they want.
Of their choosing.
Followed by wishing Mankind good wishes, telling him to get well as he's not there that evening. Before turning to Triple H and Chyna, saying they like to cripple people, so he's going to have a cast match, meaning that he's going to have a full leg cast on while facing The Rock.
The Rock's got a cast on his arm, so we're plastering one onto the unbroken leg of one Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
And that's the bottom line as we go to break.
And that's kind of why all of this works, because Austin is so hot, and he comes out here and just sells the living shit out of it.
We come back to the WWF Slam of the Week, showing us Kane chokeslamming Faarooq, while X-Pac goes for the Bronco Buster on Bradshaw, only for Shane to place a chair in the way, causing the Kid to be knocked out, leading to a clothesline from hell to make the Acolytes the new WWF Tag Team Champions.
Ooh.
We then go to Austin. He's in his locker room with Linda and Stephanie, where he's given a special corporate gift full of beer. So he cracks them open and hands them out to his guests, where Stephanie even sniffs it before drinking. She's like, do I like this? But we go to our first match, 30 minutes into the show.
Yep, we are. This is, like I said, a perfect episode for all of the children, all of the 5th graders and 7th graders whose friends won't stop talking about wrestling. If they tuned in tonight, they're probably going to tune in next week.
Yep. That first match is the Brood of Edge and Gangrel with Christian versus the Acolytes of Bradshaw and Faarooq for the WWF Tag Team Championships. And we see highlights from Sunday Night Heat, where these two teams were brawling, only for the lights to go out. But when they returned, the Big Texan was covered in blood.
Bum, bum, bum.
So everyone starts brawling in and out of the ring as soon as the bell rings, with Edge having his head slammed on the ring steps and timekeeper's table, while the former militant slams the Vampire Warrior inside the ring. And Gangrel avoids a leg drop and makes a tag, only for Edge to be taken down by a drop toe hold and double team shoulder blocks by the Acolytes. Bradshaw delivers an elbow drop, but telegraphs his next move, allowing Edge to hit a swinging neckbreaker and head up top, only for the Big Texan to knock him down, causing the Brood member to crotch himself. And the Vampire Warrior jumps in to attack from behind, but he's beaten back when Edge flies off the top with a crossbody, only for Bradshaw to catch and dump him with a fallaway slam. Faarooq returns for a spine buster that gets a 2 count, but he telegraphs his move, leading to a face plant by the Brood member, so the Big Texan tags in to deliver strikes, only to run into a big boot, a back elbow, and a missile dropkick. Gangrel tags in for clotheslines to both Acolytes, followed by a double team snap suplex of the former militant, and all 4 men start brawling again, with Faarooq power slamming Edge, when the Hardy Boys make their way to ringside, as Bradshaw nails a clothesline from hell to the Vampire Warrior for the pin and the win. Post-match, the Hardys drag Christian off, beating him down until Edge makes the save.
So the Hardys they come out with Michael Hayes still. He's still there. But were they even a distraction?
I don't think
it didn't feel that way. I think they were just trying to include them because they're starting to push them.
Yeah.
And they dragged off a guy. So it's like, oh, well, at least they're in the picture. But it was kind of weird.
JR and the King then discuss other matches happening tonight before seeing the Union walking in the back as we go to commercial.
The Union have free reign on matches they would like this evening.
And we come back to Big Show, Test, and Shamrock coming down to the ring with Michael Cole, who asks who they want to face tonight.
Brought to you by Super Soaker.
Which Show says he wants the Undertaker with the title on the line, as he's going to choke slam the dead man to hell. While we see the McMahons looking on in the back, looking scared.
I mean, we talked about how they brought Paul White in, pushed him, and then immediately neutered him.
Yeah.
And this is a great way and to just undo all of that.
Yeah.
This show seriously feels like a blank slate where it's like, oh, if you remember the things that happened before, that's only a plus. But you don't need any of it really, because that's why they spent 30 minutes giving you a prologue kind of.
Yeah.
But it was a fresh prologue. But yeah, Undertaker and Big Show, who doesn't want to see it?
Ken then gives a shout out to Mankind, followed by saying he wants Double J, but that can wait. And he was supposed to face Double J, Jarrett in the Lions Den match tonight. That was the
they teased
the match
that they teased
earlier. But now he has this choice. And so he says that match can wait. Because tonight, he wants Vince in the Lion's Den.
Which is wonderful, because Ken was one of the early guys to be doing Vince's bidding, and he got fucked over quickly.
And this causes Mr. McMahon to shit himself in the back. Tess then tries to speak, but he stumbles over his words as he calls out Stephanie McMahon, leaving Shane and Vince stunned. And when she arrives, Tess gets on his knees to ask her out, which she agrees to, with Shane freaking out and Vince in tears as we go to break.
She did a good job of being flattered and nervous and flirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a thing we see regularly in the WWF.
Bringing in more of the soap opera.
Yep, just wrestling in general.
We come back to Triple H getting his leg cast put on, which he complains is way too tight, and starts beating up the doctor.
Being the wiener heel that he is.
That takes us to our second match. X-Pac and Kane versus Shane McMahon. And we get the same highlight from the Slam of the Week before Shane makes his way to the ring, where the kid starts off with him, being taken down by a couple of slaps, only for X-Pac to retaliate with right hands and kicks that puts McMahon down in a corner. And the kid goes for the Bronco Buster, but Shane slides out of the ring in time, running around the ring, only to run right into the Big Red Machine, allowing X-Pac to nail a roundhouse kick and roll their opponent back in. Kane then goes for the choke slam when the Mean Street Posse would run in wearing Mankind masks to make the save.
Nobody else is the shape of Mick Foley.
No.
These guys are wearing like khakis and sweater vests in Mick Foley masks with like buzz cuts.
We knew exactly who it was.
Yeah.
And as Rodney and Pete Gas are leaving up the ramp, Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe make their way out.
Love to see it.
Hammering away on them and tossing them back in to be chokeslammed, spinning heel kicked, Bronco bustered, and tombstoned.
Some of them are bitches. Yeah. It's just nice to see the stooges, if you will.
Yep.
Be faces for a moment.
We go backstage to see The Rock walking in the back, followed by Triple H hobbling with his casted leg as we go to commercial. And we come back to Michael Cole in the back with Debra, explaining that she has 30 days to defend her WWF Women's Championship.
Them's the rules.
With Debra not wanting to face Nicole Bass.
She's not ready yet.
Only to say she would be willing to do a bikini contest. And if Nicole wins, she can have the title shot next week. But if she loses, Bass needs to leave her puppies alone. So we're going to get a bikini contest later, Michael.
Yeah. Between Debra, Nicole Bass, Sable 2, and Sunny 3, or Sable 2, however you want to look at it, versus Chyna 2 in a bikini match. And if Chyna 2, Nicole Bass, wins, which she won't, because we know what the deal is here, then she'll get an opportunity to have a match with her for the belt. I call this 1999.
Yep. So we go to our third match. Triple H with Chyna versus The Rock.
In a cast match.
So they start trading strikes to begin when Rocky gains the advantage with a DDT and rolls outside to grab a chair to smash across the back of Hunter, followed by a rock bottom. The chair is then placed on Triple H's head for the People's Elbow when the Undertaker would run in to choke slam The Rock, before placing the weapon in the middle of the ring to tombstone Rocky on to as well.
I've got an idea of where this may be going.
So Rock wins due to disqualification as Big Show now lumbers down, but the dead man bails to safety with Show giving chase.
A little bit of intrigue.
We then see Debra walking in the back as we go to break. Coming back to the rescue of the week, presented by the Coast Guard.
Very funny.
Where we see Nicole Bass making out with Val Venis at Over the Edge.
Is Baywatch still on? Is it still playing on USA?
I think it was in syndication, so it could have been on multiple different channels.
That's a good point. USA. Yeah, this show, Baywatch is famous for being a show that was always
silk
in
stockings. Stockings.
Oh, yeah. Silk Stockings. No, La Femme Nikita.
Yeah, La Femme Nikita. Didn't they have the Son of the Beach show?
No, that was FX.
Oh, okay.
If you want to talk about Son of the Beach.
I know you're a big fan.
I'm the only fan.
We go to our fourth match. Debra with Jeff Jarrett versus Nicole Bass with Val Venis in a bikini contest. And the King makes his way into the ring to be the MC, while both ladies have robes on over their bikinis. And Double J also has the WWF Intercontinental Championship around his waist. He had defeated the Godfather the week before on Raw. I think Owen was supposed to win it at Over the Edge.
Oh, do you think they were going to put it on the Blazer?
They were.
It felt like the Blazer gimmick, yeah. It still would have meant just as much on any of these guys as long as Owen was being the Blazer.
Yeah. And Nicole removes her robe first, with Val giving some commentary as the crowd's booing, even as Lawler is impressed. Debra then shows her stuff, which gets the crowd going. Even Venis does a double take on Dadass. The King then has the crowd do the voting, with more boos for Bass and more cheers for Debra.
But they milk it and do it again.
Leaving Nicole not very happy and looking to fight, but Val holds her back. And Double J and Venis start arguing, with Jarrett shoving Val away. So Venis responds by popping Double J in the mouth several times. Bass then grabs the guitar, while Val holds Jarrett, only for Debra to pull her man to safety in time, causing Venis to take the shot over the head. And Double J and the women's champ leave up the ramp, while Val starts arguing with Nicole in the ring, only for her to just say, "Screw you," and walk off.
Yeah, and Val's head is bleeding from the shot. I think the back of his head, top of his skull kind of. Got a splinter or two.
We see Shamrock and McMahon getting ready in the back as we go to commercial. And we come back to GTV.
I have a bizarre memory of this, and I just love how you can't tell what's going on at all, as far as the audio goes.
I mean, we see PMS in a bathroom.
It's very voyeuristic. It is like CCTV footage, but of the women's locker room bathroom.
Yeah. And I didn't quite understand exactly all what they were saying, but they were definitely talking about penis sizes.
Yeah, no, Terry talks about how she says Dustin. She doesn't say Gold Dust.
Yeah.
But she says that makes a joke about him having a small penis.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe because he's 6'4".
Who knows?
But he is white.
That's true. But we then go to our fifth match. Godfather with Hose versus Mr. Ass Billy Gunn. And the pimp takes the mic to bring everyone aboard the Hoo train.
He's got 7 hoes tonight.
And reminds everyone that pimpin' ain't easy. We then see highlights from Sunday Night Heat where Mr. Ass would hit the Godfather with a chair. So when we return, the pimp has made his way out to attack Gunn on the ramp, tossing him into the ring and delivering a thrust kick. And after a missed clothesline, the Godfather runs into a power slam, allowing Mr. Ass to whip his opponent to a corner and charge in with a splash. But the pimp moves, causing Gunn to hit headfirst on the ring post. The Godfather with clotheslines, a back body chop, and a Hoo train. He tries a second time, only for the ropes to be low-bridged, sending the pimp crashing to the floor. Road Dogg then runs down to nail a pump handle slam to Mr. Ass, followed by a leg drop by the Godfather for the pin and the win. Post-match, James continues to chase after Gunn to the back, while the pimp and his hoes celebrate in the ring.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, they shared blunts and Owen stories and hoes. So why wouldn't he help him?
Yeah.
It's his ex-tag team partner. This might be the coolest thing that Road Dogg's ever done. This might be the peak of the Godfather's career in beating Billy Gunn, who they're both kind of on the same level. Godfather's a half step below him at this point.
Yeah.
But he's not ever going to get a half step above him. It's a peak win for the Godfather, and could have been worse.
We go to Michael Cole in the back with Droz and Prince Albert. And Michael asks if Droz is ready to compete in the hardcore division.
This is horrific.
With both men just responding by puking at Cole's feet as we go to commercial.
He's gonna.
We come back to see Big Show and Undertaker getting ready for their match. As we head to the ring for our 6th match, Al Snow versus Droz with Prince Albert for the WWF Hardcore Championship.
You know what the worst thing about that puke segment was that Prince Albert obviously had liquid in his mouth and was going to fake puke. But then when he let it out and Droz was puking, he also real puked.
Yeah.
And it was just completely foul.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, he was going to fake it, but he couldn't because it was gross. I just had to point it out.
And the champ came out first. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, we're going to put it on Droz.
But Al takes off through the crowd once Drozdov comes out, luring him to the backstage area where Al bashes his opponent over the head with some sheetrock and slamming his head into some lumber. Droz returns the favor, using a stick over Snow's back and taking the fight through some doors into a restaurant, tossing Al over the bar. And Snow whacks a serving platter over Drozdov's head while a fan offers Al a beer before the two brawl behind the bar and start throwing different items at each other.
Yeah, it's like the club box style bar at a basketball arena.
Snow gets Droz on top of the bar and slides him along slowly, followed by slamming
very slowly. It looks like shit.
Followed by slamming a plant and some kind of artwork over his head for the pin and the win.
Yeah, they really didn't figure out the mechanics of sliding him across the bar. Where it's like, oh, you needed to put like vegetable oil or like olive oil or just any kind of oil on that like clear coating of that wooden bar because he's sweaty, which is just gonna make you stick and stop.
Yeah. Shamrock's then shown walking in the back, and McMahon is too, when Cole catches up with him, with Vince asking if Michael thinks he's afraid of Ken Shamrock, before just walking off as we go to break. Coming back to our 7th match, Vince McMahon versus Ken Shamrock in a Lion's Den match. And they literally set the Lion's Den up next to the ramp.
Yeah, it's like, you have the stage and then the ramp down to the ring, but there's always those empty
little areas
to the left and right, and this one is facing at the right. It's stage left. They have a very small, a small version of like an early UFC type of looking ring. Cage, if you will.
And Vince locks himself inside the den with the use of a chain, causing Ken to attempt to push his way into the cage. And the door finally opens up, only for McMahon to grab the chain to defend himself.
Wraps it around his wrist.
When Jeff Jarrett would arrive to smash a chair across Shamrock's skull, knocking him inside the den, where Vince applies an ankle lock, with the ref calling for the stoppage, and the win.
This made my heart hurt. The ankle lock on Ken Shamrock looked pathetic.
Yeah.
And Ken Shamrock is... The important part is that Ken Shamrock is knocked out because of the chair shot.
Yeah.
And not the pathetic ankle lock. So the pathetic ankle lock didn't beat Ken Shamrock. The chair did. So it has its outs. Just a bit of a bummer for Ken Shamrock to look like he lost that way. Yeah. But any viewer, no matter if you were in 4th grade or
just building more heat for when Shamrock and Jarrett finally
exactly. Off. It serves its purpose.
Yeah. We go to the back to see Taker and Big Show walking as we go to commercial. Coming back to the JVC Kaboom of the week, where we see Paul Bearer hand a wood club to the dead man to whack Show across the head from a Raw last month.
But it actually looks good because they say it's a club, but it's obviously a baseball bat. And you can't tell because this isn't...
Actually, I thought it was an axe handle.
But it looks like it has the... I don't know what you call it. The hilt. Mm-hmm. Not the hilt, but the bottom of a baseball bat. Because I rounded a couple times because I was trying to see how fake it looked. Because when they hit him over the head, it splinters like fucking balsa wood, but it looks pretty decent. So I just appreciated the fact, because I hate the baseball bat where they're like, oh, baseball bat, and then they just kind of like bunt everybody. And it's like, if you wanted to hurt somebody with a baseball bat, you could kill them very quickly.
Especially with a shot to the head.
Yeah, or just take out their knee and then they're on the ground. It's a disgusting thing that you could do to somebody. So when you use it in wrestling, it makes wrestling look stupider. So the fact that this looked like a baseball bat and the way that it broke, it's the only way they should use a baseball bat in wrestling.
We also get a recap of what just happened before the break. Coming back to live footage of Vince and Shane running to their limo and driving away.
Yep, with a tail between their legs.
JR then also shows us the bracket for the King of the Ring.
But King of the Ring is kind of, it's the place where you take a mid-card guy and build him up. And then see if it works.
Yep. But we go to our 8th match. Big Show versus Undertaker with Paul Bearer for the WWF Championship. And Show attacks as soon as Taker is in the ring. But the dead man hammers away until he runs into a big boot, a clothesline, and a leaping elbow drop for a 2 count. Undertaker sit hard into a corner, followed by a double choke lift from the Big Show, before stomps, chops, and right hands. Taker lands a couple shots, only for a headbutt to put Show back in control. But a missed clothesline leads to both men grabbing the other's throats, when a low blow would allow the dead man to escape and deliver a leaping clothesline. And Big Show's kicked out of the ring, where Undertaker tries to ram the head of his opponent into the steps, only to be blocked and reversed, followed by more strikes around ringside. And Show picks up Taker, but he slides out the back and shoves Big Show into a ring post.
Posted.
Before blasting him with a chair shot across the back, working him over with strikes, chokes, and a head slam into the announce table. And Show's rolled inside with the dead man headed up top, coming off with a flying clothesline, only for the Big Show to catch him mid-air by the throat to nail a showstopper through the ring.
Oh my God.
Which causes the ref to call for the bell and the no contest. Which I didn't quite understand, but we'll give it to him.
I mean, Show can't cover him under the ring. Yeah. He's too large to crawl down there.
Post-match, Big Show falls into the hole as well and begins stomping away on his opponent, when Bradshaw would run down, but he gets chokeslammed, as well as Faarooq and Midian, while the Undertaker walks to the back as JR says his goodbyes, and we fade to black. So I ask you, Michael, what are your overall thoughts of Monday Night Raw from June 7th, 1999?
I put out my hand pretty early, but I think this is an incredible reset for a post-Owen situation. This truly feels like the first episode of a new season. It's a good starting point that doesn't ignore the things of the past. It's filled with, all the storylines are pretty succinct, and the matches and spectacle are all done to a above average quality. But it's a bit unfortunate to feel that way, considering that Owen had just passed away like 2 weeks before this. But as far as branding goes, and just as far as branding goes and reach, it's like you guys are hot right now.
Yeah.
And you've been hot for a while, and something really horrific happened, but it seems like they really kind of took a step backwards, and that 1 week where they just had matches that didn't matter while talking about Owen, they seemed to really, who knows how much of this was planned, probably a lot of it, but they really seemed to focus and put on a show that I think just about anybody would tune into the next week.
Yep. A 30-minute opening and no match going over 4 minutes other than the main event always makes you a little weary.
Absolutely.
On a show. But I really enjoyed some of the storytelling And I thought it was a really fun main event.
It was incredibly well shot.
As they start to build Big Show for the future, which I think is you need another person to step up, because I mean you can only run Austin, Undertaker, Rock, Mankind so much, because three of those four guys are basically hurt.
Yeah, glassbone boys.
Yeah, I mean Triple H is on his way up as well, but adding another person to that mix helps keep everyone fresh, and you can mix and match.
Also, the amount in which Paul White has leveled up in the short time that he is in the WWF from when he was in WCW is crazy. And then the Undertaker sells for him big. The match is set up well. There's an incredible cinematic shot of the camera from Paul White's corner when, like, right before the lights come up or whatever, and it's just pure fog shot up in front of the Undertaker. Yeah, and the lights come up and the fog somehow is perfectly like dissipated, and then it goes into like an actual intense and well-worked big man match where both sell, and then Paul White wins without winning. Yeah. Sorry, I call him Paul White because I can't write the Big Show in my notes. It takes too many movements. Too many flicks of the wrist. I can just write PW.
Can't you just write BS?
Yeah, but I get that mixed up because I do shorthand. So BS could mean backslide. Although neither of these guys are doing backslides.
Neither one of these guys are doing backslides.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
I mean, I think this show, the fact that it opens with 30 minutes before a match.
And you weren't bored?
And I wasn't bored. It was good. Everybody did their job. And then for everybody after that to have 4-minute matches, and I don't think any of them were bad. And they all kind of told the story and worked in the favor of the angle. Yeah. Is pretty incredible that they can pull that off.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm happy that the Hardy Boys are finally kind of becoming a thing.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's because once the Hardy Boys show up, then we know that we're about to get more Edge and Christian than Edge and Gangrel. So that's always a good thing. The test twist of instead of asking for a match, he
asked for a date,
which I don't think I ever realized that this was how that storyline kind of started.
I don't remember that, but like I said, I was watching weekly at the time, so it's not like I went back or whatever. I just know where it's going. Yeah. But I didn't realize that the impetus of that was Stone Cold being made the CEO via. It's like such a like stupid, intricate, but easy to follow web where it's like, okay, it makes enough sense, and then you don't really have to remember why it happened, and you just move on from there. Yeah. It's like a card trick.
Triple H just lugging around in that cast was...
It's great.
It was just funny enough that I was okay with their match being like 3 seconds long.
It was Triple H being forced to...
have some comeuppance.
Just have like some character. Because it was like, oh, you're just like kind of a buff guy who says he's a badass. But we don't feel it. Which makes you like The Rock, but without charisma. So he was forced to look like a fool and did a good job of it.
I think this is the first time we've seen the pump handle slam from Road Dogg.
I agree. I had that in my notes because I was like, oh, that's such a good move. And the Road Dogg is so light on being able to do anything that looks good in the ring. That and he does it well. And the pump handle slam always looks good. Yeah. And I'm excited when anybody does it that it feels like he should have been doing it his whole career. Yeah. Because as far as movesets go, I don't know if there's many I dislike more than the Road Dogg Jesse James.
And then, as I mentioned, I really liked the main event. It was very fun.
It was so intentional They obviously worked it out well. Undertaker was down to do business. Paul White was excited because he was given the opportunity and he rose to it. And the cameras were all in the right place at the right time. Everybody hit their mark.
Yep.
And it didn't matter. Just like the Undertaker doesn't need the belt. The Undertaker doesn't need to be covered for a 3 count to lose. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. The fact that he put him through there and then even went further and followed up to crawl down to the hole and continue to stomp him proves that the Big Show, I almost said the Giant, that the Big Show is worthy after being kind of wasted for 6 months.
Yeah. Any other best moments for you?
I mean, it's just a really kinetic and good show.
Yeah.
There's probably some others, but I just watched the show. It's a good show.
How about most disappointing? My first one is, could we not decide on higher power or greater power? Like, literally, Shane and Vince literally kept saying greater power, but this entire time it's been the higher power.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they just could not get through their heads that it's higher power. They kept saying greater power. And I was just like, what are we doing?
I don't know. Maybe it's the difference between Catholicism and like Episcopalian. I have no idea. But yeah, that didn't bother me so much. I mean, but I didn't really notice it.
I only noticed it because I'm writing it down.
Yeah. I think I just stuck to one. And I don't know which one. But I guess the obvious, I wouldn't even call it disappointing. It's par for the course. But the only thing on the show that's just kind of like whatever is the like TNA of it all. Is the Debra thing. But it's like it doesn't take up much time, and like that's where it's 1999.
I mean, they're going to put them on the show. That's what people want to see.
Yeah. I loved it as a kid. It's fine. So I'm not mad at it, but like...
Literally, if you put a bag over their heads, Nicole probably wins at an actual contest.
I don't know. She's a little buff for me.
I mean, because she's a female bodybuilder, but so she's literally... That's... the kind of thing she would do.
Yeah, they're doing bikini contest in like a spring break way, not in a bodybuilder way. Either way, they're both specimens.
But Nicole Bass has a good body.
I mean, she could kick my ass probably tomorrow. And she's probably 60.
I mean, technically, you say the TNA of all. I was like, the puke of it all.
Oh, no, the puke, yeah.
The puke is just like...
Good point. That is obviously the worst part because
why are we doing this?
It's gross. It's also not funny, and it doesn't amount to anything.
Yeah. We already kind of talked about Vince being the higher power, and if, like, I kind of expressed my opinion of, like, it kind of just takes away everything that they did in the last 3 months or so.
Which,
fine, whatever. But, like, as you said, who else is it going to be?
And...
that's going to make any difference.
If it takes away everything that happened in the last 3 months, that's not a problem if the show is this strong.
Yeah.
Because we had a tragedy and things were kind of shaky in the first place, and this feels like a refocusing of where they're headed, where they want to head.
Yeah.
And it worked so well here that, like, who cares or remembers? Now we all know what the deal is, and we're interested in where it's going to go.
I forgot to bring this up. I did think of another best moment.
Okay.
And we've talked about Vince and Shane's reactions to things. Like, they're great.
They're great
at it. During that union segment, like after each one of them asks for what they're asking for, their reactions in that moment. That's the McMahon. That's the McMahons that I remember.
Yeah.
So so much fun.
Say what you will about Vince McMahon. There's a lot of terrible things you can say about him, but you can't say that he was a bad performer. Yep. You can say he overacted, but he's still one of the best heels of the cable era of wrestling.
Yep.
I won't say of all time because pre-cable era, it just depends on where you were and what you saw and where you lived and who came through there, and we don't have enough record for that.
Yeah.
But as far as the cable era of wrestling, Vince McMahon, one of the best heels of all time.
I'm a best performer of the night.
I'm going to give it to Paul White.
That's who I was thinking too.
He cut a good promo, which we never thought was possible. The glow up is insane. The fact that he's done so well so quickly that the Undertaker is willing to go inside out on a clothesline for him.
Yeah.
And he goes through the ring for the Big Show. That's a big deal. You don't need to pin the Undertaker. Just like the Undertaker doesn't need a belt. You still walk away looking with more clout. You're more taken more seriously and you mean more. And it's really impressive how quickly they turned around the bad and boring habits that one Paul White was taught in WCW.
Yeah. How about most surprising?
This is where Test Stephanie begins.
Yeah. I was definitely surprised because I like I said earlier, I couldn't remember.
We all remember the storyline.
Yeah, I just never knew where exactly this started. And it's all thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's kind of the same way how we...
Shouldn't he have been the best man?
It's kind of the same way how we were like, oh, this show is a fresh start, but still acknowledges the past.
Yeah.
This is so good and well told that everybody knows where everything's going, or everybody knows where everybody stands at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So as long as the next thing is interesting, this doesn't matter, which is kind of what's important about wrestling, is that like it's the feeling at the end of the show about the things that happen more than the like logic or reality of what they're trying to tell you. It's like, well, did they sell it well enough? Did it feel good? Did it feel bad? Are you invested? That's the important part. It has to have some kernel of like truth or logic, but it doesn't have to be sound.
Yeah.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Turn the lights down, turn the projector on, because we're ready to rumble. This week's film is Mission to Moscow, released May 22nd, 1943 by Warner Brothers. It was directed by Michael Curtiz, a 5-time Oscar nominee with 1 win, and written by Howard Koch, a 2-time Oscar nominee with 1 win. It would star Walter Houston, 4-time Oscar nominee with 1 win, Ann Harding, a 1-time Oscar nominee, and Oscar Homolka, a 1-time Oscar nominee. The plot of this is Ambassador Joseph Davies is sent by FDR to Russia to learn about the Soviet system, returning to America as an advocate of Stalinism. And some trivia for this, it was nominated for Best Art Direction, Interior Decoration, Black and White. And this film was often mentioned during the HUAC meetings and was chiefly responsible for the blacklisting of Howard Koch. It's based on Joseph Davis' memoir, which sold over 700,000 copies and is translated into 13 languages.
This just sounds like it was written by that group of people at the beach house in that, what's the Coen Brothers movie called? It's the last one they made together. It's very good.
Gosh.
And Josh Brolin is the star.
I'm blanking.
Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
It's called Hail Caesar.
That's what it's
this.
called.
Yeah, this sounds like the joke of, yeah, it's like, oh, the Coen Brothers know what this movie is. And they know who the American commies were that wrote this. And the joke was that all those guys were having their meeting at the beach house. Great movie. It gets better with every watch. But it is funny where people talk about like how awful it was that these people were getting blacklisted and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it was 1943 and you were making pro-communist films in America that were getting Oscar nominees. I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm just saying that you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And you might be doing a little too much, a little too early. That sounds like the most interesting thing about this.
So reviews and ratings of this one. IMDb has it at a 5.4, Letterboxd at a 3.0. And I found this review from Bosley Crowther in the New York Times from 1943. It's the most outspoken picture on a political subject that an American studio has ever made. The nature of the picture is such that only Mr. Houston has a great deal to do, and that is another weakness. Story is never told with as much excitement or compulsion as resided in the times. And my review is Walter Houston and Michael Curtiz do some heavy lifting to make this propaganda film even bearable.
So this just sounds like a guy cornering you at a party and telling you about his ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bummer.
It attempts to portray Stalin as a fair and just man while looking at the industrial revolution that Russia was making happen. But it never mentions gulags. One of the most interesting scenes shows the Moscow trials, in which Stalin purged prominent party leaders to move closer to absolute power. But it is dramatized like a murder mystery court case would be in a modern film.
So it's just very college-brained. Wouldn't this be nice? Wouldn't it be great if all of this worked out?
Well, it's more like that, the gotcha, like, they caught you in a lie kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I meant by college-brained.
The wrestler of this film is Mike Mazurki. And this is our 11th time to see him. He's working as a machinist in one of the factories that Davies visits to see the revolution occurring in person.
And he wasn't in the bread line, and he was happy, and he fed his whole family, and he didn't have any relatives that were in a gulag.
I give the movie a 3.0. I'm not going to say it's entertaining, but it's interesting enough to kind of see...
It's interesting in a historical way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I gave Mike a 3.0 for his performance. He literally is just kind of standing there doing work.
Hitting thing with a hammer.
Yeah.
Operating heavy machinery.
So, did his job. Move forward.
Put the fries in the bag.
This movie, if it does sound interesting, it can be found on HBO. At least the last time I looked, it was streaming on there. But if not, I did find it through the library system at one point. Next week, it's one of our favorite shows.
Absolutely. A show that has brought us many shortlist matches.
Best of the Super Junior 6.
I mean, this is where... this is in our pocket. It's what we live for.
Yeah. And music from this week's show is Thorn in My Eye by Jim Johnston. And Big Show stood tall at the end of the show.
I mean, yeah, he obviously gets the tune.
So we're going to play Big
Well,
by Jim Johnston. And if you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you're doing the YouTube thing, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Leave some comments there.
why not?
I try and check those a lot more often than I used to, so if you do...
Yeah, it's crazy how people are... how YouTube is just what people watch.
Yeah. And if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, recipes, if you know anything Japanese that sounds interesting that we could possibly try, send those our way at our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO X. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.